reaching out to all you that was standing there while the baby was being made and did fucking nothing. You did nothing. You watched her. You watched her because you was scared she was in control of the money.
Trip in Vegas, I was in the corner of the bed. He was beating my body. And then he like, if you move, your stomach gonna bleed. I'm gonna kill this baby. You're gonna be bleeding for a month on schoolyard crib. You're not a crib. That's not crib. Having sex with your homies, the guy that puts you on your road manager, road dog, the first one you call, baby mama, that's not crib. You ain't even get DP'd yet. Posting your son penis, that's not crib. That's a demon. For real, like, then he rode me over with a car. Like, bro, this is all when I was 6 months pregnant. My son walking, my son talking, and my son eat. Just because I don't display that internet, I don't give a proving anything to y'all.
Welcome back to The Real Truth, where the tea never runs out and the streets are always hushed. Chrisean Rock seems to be finally admitting that her child's health might not be as perfect as she has been making claims about. But instead of accepting accountability for her part, she is going back and accusing Blueface directly. This is all in response to a recent release. You heard right. Chrisean Jr.'s private medical data allegedly started making the rounds on the internet. These records sparked speculation about the possible health problems of her billion-dollar baby. And they started the never-ending conversation about Chrisean's parenting choices right away. She has been dismissed for months. Criticism, laughing off the critics, and acting as though everyone was just jealous. But she suddenly stopped laughing. It was clear that things had changed. Chrisean went online and leveled some severe charges against her ex, instead of dodging the matter. According to her, Blueface allegedly groped her during her pregnancy. And that could have something to do with what's going on right now, she said. Online users instantly went crazy, debating if she was being truthful, exaggerating, or trying to divert attention away from herself. And the worst is yet to come. The timing is dubious. Shortly after the medical leak gained widespread attention, she started making these claims. She seemed to want to focus all of that attention on Blueface instead of herself.
Like, being abused while you're pregnant, yes, that has a lot to do with a lot of things. But me not leaving and just staying away, that's on me too.
Chrisean Rock is now altering the whole story by asserting that her pregnancy-related events are directly responsible for her son's health problems. She is claiming that Blueface is to blame for the issue, but she admits that she also holds herself somewhat responsible. Not for causing the harm, but rather for delaying your departure while the alleged abuse persisted. Things start to become serious at this point. During her pregnancy, a lot of people on the internet showed genuine concern for her unborn child. But instead of dealing with those problems, Chrisean was displaying her drinking and smoking habits while pregnant on social media, leading a wild life. The public was often raising alarms, but she didn't slow down. She is now changing her mind and using the internet to accuse Blueface of doing things that she believes may have contributed to her child's condition. As said by Christine, in the 7th month of her pregnancy, Blueface cautioned her, "If you get up, your stomach will bleed. And I'm going to hurt this baby. You will be bleeding for a month." She even claims that he hit her with a car while she was pregnant. In an interview with DJ Academics, she intensified her efforts, asserting that her baby's health problems are directly linked to his alleged actions. This clearly stunned Blueface's fanbase and those close to him. His mother, Carissa Seppel, wasn't holding back. She went on to say, "Here he is sitting there doing time like it's his fault, not complaining, and now here we go piling more stuff on him." She made it clear that Blueface already has 2 other children, both of whom she claims are doing well, and that she is convinced that Chrisean was the more violent of their romantic relationships. Carissa noted that the real causes of any health issues are Chrisean's reckless behavior during pregnancy, disobedience of medical advice, causing continuous family strife, and continuing to be enmeshed in a cycle of fights and mayhem that was live-streamed online. The internet distribution of Chrisean Jr.'s revealed medical information corresponds with the most recent shift in tone. For months, Chrisean had brushed off questions and said that people were only trying to malign her. claiming that her baby was doing perfectly well. But as soon as those alleged data were released to the public, her story changed. She is now making excuses for everything by claiming to have been abused. A celebrity relationship that was already among the most turbulent in recent memory has taken a wild turn. The tale truly took off when Chrisean first shared her pregnancy on Instagram in 2023 after posting multiple positive pregnancy tests. The announcement was supposed to be a happy one. It feels more like the start of an ongoing storm, though, considering everything that has happened since. Chrisean immediately conveyed that her child was Blueface's child. But Blueface didn't think it was true. He strongly refuted the accusations, saying that their relationship was over by the time she became pregnant. Furthermore, he refused to accept the title of father in the absence of proof. In addition, he openly questioned whether the baby was really his, saying that other men had also been in the picture. For him, the only simple next step was to get a DNA test. But when everything was already in disarray, Blueface's mother, Chrisean Jr, entered the conflict. She wasn't shy because of her position. Furthermore, her response merely made the grow hotter. Chrisean retorted, "Definitely not pregnant," after Chrisean announced her pregnancy. That man would lose his license if he allowed such an exercise. Her words were straightforward and her message was clear. She believed that Chrisean's account was inconsistent. It was not just a paternity problem. It was only one chapter in the long, complicated tale of Chrisean's pregnancy. As the months went by, attention turned from the father's identity to how she was actually managing her pregnancy. By then, she was embroiled in yet another controversy over her drug use and partying. Social media users started sharing videos and live feeds of Chrisean acting in ways that both admirers and critics found alarming. People were flooding her remarks, begging her to calm down, halt, and think about the unborn child's well-being. But Chrisean paid no heed to those entreaties. Instead, she persisted in defending herself against the criticism, claiming that people were only trying to dramatize and control her life. At one particular moment, the internet was in a frenzy. When she was FaceTimed by DJ Academics, she was actually very pregnant, and during the conversation, she was seen smoking and getting excited. After the video went viral, there were heated debates over whether she was following medical advice or simply going against the grain. It was interpreted by some as proof that she was ignoring the issue. Others interpreted it as further evidence of how toxic her and Blueface's back and forth had become.
FaceTime her, she's like smoking a joint. Full on pregnant.
While she's pregnant.
Full on pregnant. Smoking a joint. And I said, aren't you? And she's like, shh. And I'm like, nigga, it ain't no shh. I'm like, the baby's in the stomach. Like, yeah. No fucks.
Chrisean Jr was not going to sit by and watch. She went all out and streamed her charges live on Instagram because she was determined to call people out by name. This time, she wasn't just after Chrisean. It was Techie's friends and Chrisean's own sister, Tassay. It was also not a quiet life. When Chrisean arrived in full force, it was clear that she was fed up with what she believed had been going on behind the scenes. She stated unequivocally that she and her employees knew about Chrisean's pregnancy-related activities, specifically the alleged silence, partying, and drug usage. According to Chrisean, they didn't try to stop it, didn't speak up, and didn't step in. Not because they didn't care, but because they feared losing their position in Chrisean's inner circle and, more importantly, the financial rewards that came with it. Chrisean claims that people who stood by and watched as things went out of control did so more out of loyalty to Chrisean's pocketbook than to the well-being of her unborn child. She even hinted that their silence was not passive but deliberate. She claimed that Tassay and her friends kept quiet because they knew that if they spoke up, they may lose their chance to inherit Chrisean's riches and influence. Then she went on. Chrisean made it clear that if things would have gone quite differently if she had been Toki, regardless of the consequences. She claimed she would have stepped in immediately to make sure Chrisean had the help she needed. There was no excuse, Chrisean thought, for neglecting the problem at this critical juncture. Comments flooded the live stream. While some support Chrisean and criticize Techie, others charge Chrisean with inciting turmoil in order to gain influence. However, Chrisean reiterated that this had nothing to do with online rivalry. It dealt with accountability in real life. When you see someone close to you slipping in a dangerous direction, you step in, she said, framing it as a moral failure. For a period,
I'm not reaching out to all you that was standing there while the baby was being made and did fucking nothing. You did nothing. You watched her. You watched her because you was scared she was in control of the money. I wouldn't have gave a fuck about that money. I'd have snatched her up and took her to home and made sure she at least got the mental health and counseling that she needed during her pregnancy so that she wouldn't have to regret it for the rest of her life.
throughout her pregnancy, Chrisean Rock continued to live her same careless lifestyle in spite of numerous warnings from family, friends, and even total strangers on the internet. She ignored them and continued doing what she wanted to do, regardless of how many worried comments flooded her live chats or how many direct messages flowed in. Chaos engulfed the family once more shortly after she gave birth to her son, Chrisean Jr. after Blueface was imprisoned for violating his probation. Chrisean had to balance becoming a new mother while their already tumultuous relationship continued to swing back and forth. Rather than keeping quiet, concentrating on herself, or giving the infant her whole attention. With a move that no one anticipated, Chrisean made headlines. She received a huge new face tattoo honoring Blueface. This stunt drove social media into overdrive, just after he had previously had another tattoo of himself removed. The criticism was swift, and many admirers referred to it as evidence that her priorities were inverted. In large numbers, followers began clicking the unfollow button. Tia Kemp, who has never been afraid to voice her opinions, was one of the people who spoke up. Tia quickly jumped in to point out what she perceived to be misaligned priorities in their past online back and forth. Tia's message was direct and full of insults. She said, "I thought I liked you when you had that little big-faced baby looking like Charles Barkley. For 2 years, you and Chrisean ran about beating everyone up. Get a pebble off the Flintstones. Rocky, get that infant to go to a daycare or something so he can learn to crawl and bring Mr. Purpleface along. We're looking for milestones." What are you doing? He ought to be holding a bottle by now, so we want to make sure he's crawling. Tia continued after that. She lately increased the intensity of her criticism and now asks why Chrisean Jr. has not yet begun to run or walk. It was another indication, she said, that Chrisean was not giving parenthood the respect it merited. The fan community's continuing. Discussion about whether Chrisean is putting her image and relationship drama ahead of her child's development was rekindled by her remarks. Additionally, the public's attention on Chrisean's parenting only grows hotter with each remark Tia makes. There is more to this feud than two people insulting each other. It's developing into a full-fledged conflict about accountability, reputation, and the true meaning of being there for your child.
I'ma say this, and I'ma say this nicely. Chrisean need to go sit down somewhere, and she need to get this baby some help. She need to get herself some help. She need to stop engaging with all this internet shit and beef and all this shit and keep back and forth with that boy lying and playing on y'all mind. Cause she ain't never played on mine. I don't pay her no attention. I already know she fucked up in the head. But it's making me mad that this baby can't run, get down and walk. And I'm looking at him right here. It's clear that things are wrong with him. So why she ain't taking this baby, I don't get this. But we don't know what she doing behind closed doors. We don't. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think she's doing that.
Chrissy and Rock were determined to respond to Tia Kemp's remarks. Chrisean immediately responded online to Tia's most recent round of criticism, stating unequivocally that she was not amenable to what she perceived as public humiliation masquerading as compassion. She stated Tia could have just picked up the phone if she really cared and advised her to avoid getting involved in any social media turmoil. Chrisean said that rather than blasting her to thousands of people for amusement, a private discussion would have been the appropriate course of action.
Come on now, stop speaking on me. For real. Stop speaking on me. Go back to clapping those saggy of yours. Just go back to mother, bro. You feel me? All you gotta do is, man, encourage the next mother, pray for the next mother, be there for the next mother. Passing judgment, trying to be funny, like I don't got feelings. You already did this before. Auntie! And you nobody aunt. We don't know you. You're a fun lady, but we don't know you, bro. In real life, we don't know you, bro. You feel me? And even if you was my aunt, just call me like you really love me, bro. You don't know what's really going on for real, what's really going on for real. Like, I don't know what's really going on with your kid, bro. But you would want us to pray for him, right? When he got stabbed up. I pass judgment. Oh, he outside. He banging. He this. He in the streets. Man, go get your son off
When
the street.
something far more serious entered the picture, things took a drastic turn. A collection of purportedly leaked medical records pertaining to Chrisean Jr. appeared online. If these files were authentic, they appeared to validate what many people had been speculating about for months, and they swiftly went viral on blogs and gossip pages. According to reports, the compromised documents presented a concerning image of the unborn child's health, mentioning issues that some speculate might have been related to Chrisean's prenatal lifestyle. For some who had been raising concerns from the beginning, this evidence confirmed what they had been warning about.
What was that in your system and your baby's system? And for you weirdos that say I be lying, the only people who lied was her siblings and her friends and associates. Didn't they say the baby was healthy? Charity Ben told you guys his vision was messed up. You seen him meet no milestone.
According to reports, the docs mentioned a condition that is frequently associated with substance use during pregnancy, as well as potential developmental difficulties. With detractors pointing to the multiple videos and images of Chrisean partying, drinking, and smoking while pregnant, that portion of the leak instantly rekindled old arguments. However, her attorneys quickly emphasized that people should not make snap judgments based solely on online gossip, because leaked medical documents can be readily misconstrued or even fabricated.
This part of the record says that the baby had fetal halt alcohol syndrome, neonatal abstinence, seizure disorder, spasticity, cortical visual impairment, oh my God, and the specialist that he'll need, a neurology, orthopedic, otolaryngology, cardiology, gastroenterology, ophthalmology, pulmonology, and palliative care.
Critics of Chrisean Rock claim that her son's health issues have been piling up like warning signs on a windy day. They also asserted that a lot of what is currently occurring was predicated on the pregnancy itself. Now that her long-standing denials have been exposed by the stolen medical data, she has changed her mind once more and asserts that the stress and supposed harm she experienced throughout her pregnancy as a result of Blueface is the cause of her child's health problems. What has people talking even more, though, is this. She had his complete face permanently inked on hers at about the same time. That inconsistency has generated several memes, thought articles, and contentious discussions in the comment area. Critics claim that the reason she keeps changing the plot is because she continues to deny the consequences of her parenting choices now or her personal choices made throughout her pregnancy. It appears that this following chapter will be just as wild, if not more so, given that she has now been forced to leave Blueface's residence and that he will soon be released. Do you believe Chrisean is revealing the whole truth this time, my stars and hushers, or is this just another development in a story that has been going on for years? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. If you're keeping up with all of this craziness, hit the like button to ensure you don't miss what comes next. Don't forget to subscribe. See you at the next